Hello, Internet. I am Nick Colley, one of the leads for Data for Democracy, and today we have a wonderful chat with a couple of gentlemen from the United Nations. They're here to talk about their latest contest with data. So on the line with me today, we have Jorge and Clovis. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, hello, Nick.
Hi, Nick. How are you? Hi, hello, everyone.
Doing very well. How about yourselves?
Thank you. Very well.
Excellent. Per the normal rules, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are watching the YouTube channel for the discussions, as well as the Slack for Data for Democracy. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we will get those questions thrown out here to these wonderful gentlemen. So, Jorge, Clovis, who are you guys? What's the UN-OICT project?
Right. Perhaps I can start, Jorge. So my name is Clovis Freire. I work for the United Nations in the Division for Sustainable Development. This division is part of a department of UN that support countries on their agenda for sustainable development. We have sustainable development goals that were proposed and set by the countries in 2015, and it goes from reduce poverty, eliminate poverty, to eliminate hunger, up to work towards climate change. And our work here is to support the member states, the member countries of the UN, to implement this agenda for sustainable development, and in particular using science, technology, and innovation. Because the kind of transformation that we need for that agenda cannot be done with business as usual. It has to be supported by real change that it can only happen through science, technology, innovation. Up to you, Jorge, now.
Yeah, so my name is Jorge Martinez. I work in the United Nations Office of Information and Communications Technology, and I am responsible for a platform called UN-IDEAS, and I'm going to share my screen here so other people can see it. So this website is a mechanism for crowdsourcing challenges and competitions related to data science, as well as developing open source software. We have had many challenges in the past, including very recently a challenge called iDetect, that Data for Democracy won. Actually, they made an amazing project to use machine learning to classify news media articles at a massive scale. We're talking millions of documents, and using machine learning, Data for Democracy was able to create a classifier so UN staffers and that are working on refugees can better process large amount of information. And that's me, so I look forward to this interview.
Awesome. So that data is kind of the underlying connector between all the different challenges that your group hosts. Is that correct?
Yeah, data and open source software as well.
Okay. So you had previously mentioned that our internal displacement team had won. What was unique about their submission that helped them win? What was it that really drew your attention?
Yeah, so I will take that one, Clovis. Data for Democracy has been a really interesting participant to these competitions and challenges, because we as the UN thought that we were going to crowdsource some of our projects by using our platform, and we expected individuals or teams of a few people to participate. But what was amazing when we saw the solution submitted by Data for Democracy is that it was prepared not by a handful, but dozens of people collaborating around the same idea. And that's incredible that you guys, Data for Democracy, have such a large pool of people that are willing to help and apply their skills for something good. So that's why we really are happy to be getting closer to you.
Excellent. Yeah, so with this new competition you guys have announced, you're looking for teams to submit and be challenged to, or help solve what?
Yeah, so perhaps I take this one, Jorge. The challenge and what we really want to have is that, as I mentioned before, the member countries, they decided, all members of the UN, they decided that by 2030, they will reach a set of goals that are called Sustainable Development Goals. So they are very challenging goals to, as I mentioned, to reduce poverty, reduce hunger, to bring education for all, electricity for all, just to say a few of these goals. And these goals, they require a change on the way that we think about development. And they require change that only can come about through technology, innovation, and science. But the dissemination of technology, the dissemination of the innovation across countries and within countries, or the dissemination of scientific knowledge, is something that is not an easy process. It's not only to put it in the internet and in a minute someone can use that knowledge in another part of the world. And it's also challenging even to find that knowledge. So there is technology today, there are innovation that can solve some of these problems, but people may not know where to find that technology, where to find this knowledge. And people might not even know how to ask the question, on how even know what kind of technology can help them. So the problem that we would like to solve is how to connect those that produce that technology, that science, and that innovation with those that are looking for that technology, science, innovation. So it's really a matchmaking problem. This technology innovation that it's created in developed countries, but also created through grassroots innovation, through frugal innovation, so in several settings. And people that are looking for that innovation are entrepreneurs, are innovators in different settings, but also are users that have problems to solve related to sustainable development, and that not even know how to find or how to make a question related to that technology. So the problem that you want to solve is exactly this matchmaking problem.
So, forgive the crude example, but a tender for technologists to find the right technology.
Yes, and what we are interested to do with this challenge is what are the possible solutions for that problem? Because you already have databases of technologies, and they are people that enter that information, that technology usually are from the supply side, the business sector. They know how to classify that technology, and people that are looking for that also come from the business sector, let's say, and they know what they are looking for. But what we are talking about is something bigger than that. It's people in different settings trying to solve their problems. Let me give an example. You are a farmer in a country, in a tropical setting, you want to improve your yield. You don't really know what kind of technology can help with that, and if that technology in your setting, you are not connected to the grid, so perhaps the technology that you may need to use is something that is related with renewable energy, because you're not connected to the grid. There are many things that should be combined to be the solution for your particular problem. So we would like to see solutions on not only on how to access these databases of technologies, but how to facilitate people to formulate their problem and formulate their need that can match what is already there in terms of database of solutions of technologies.
So you mentioned a really great example with the farmer. What kind of the farmer kind of using a tool to be able to search and go through, and they're trying to find a way to get better yields out of their crops. So who's the target customer that would be using this information that this database collects?
Right. So the sustainable development goals, they are a very broad range of goals, and they cover all areas of development. So you have from poverty, from food security, you have gender, education, energy, you have biodiversity, oceans, climate change, industrialization, resilient cities. You see, it's a broad range of things. Actually, we are talking about any potential person that would like to solve a problem that is related to development. So it's difficult to pinpoint a particular sector. But of course, the solutions can try out in a particular sector, more related to, for example, to the example that I gave, agriculture, food security, and test how that can be solved in a particular segment or range of the sustainable development goals. But the solution that we visualize, or the goal of the solution that we view for, end goal of that is that really to be able to serve the whole range of sustainable development goals.
I would like to add something to this. There are a lot of information already available in many places, and people who have good internet connectivity, access to good libraries and good databases for example, in universities, if they have the time to go there and research, they can find all the technology that they need for their ventures, for their new companies or their new inventions. But when you have limited time, limited access to search tools and good internet connectivity, you can't really afford to spend a lot of your time doing that scientific research. So in a way, what we're trying to build is a good search engine comparable to, for example, Kayak. Kayak.com, I need a ticket and I don't want to go to 20 or 35 different airlines and hotels and car rentals. I just go into one place, I put my conditions, and I receive all this information from a lot of sources. And Kayak took the burden of identifying all those sources. In this case, what we want this tool to do is to find content from many places where when there is scientific and technology information, as well as requests and offers for innovation services. And we want all of those to be available in one single platform to expedite the research that a normal individual would do. And we also want that this platform sends you alerts and notifications when based on your previous queries. So if today you're a farmer and you look for better yields techniques for corn, and then you go off to do your job, and we would like you to receive emails on trainings that are about corn yields, innovation products coming from multiple patent offices, open source materials that relate to your industry, and all of that to be facilitated so you are more productive.
Excellent. So it sounds like we have a very broad audience that could be leveraging the database that where all this data is collected, and for them to input into the search engine, the end user. What kind of platforms, if we're thinking the end user, should the participants try to be building for? Is it mobile only, mobile desktop? If it's mobile, are we looking at older model phones or newer model phones? Do we have any information about that?
Maybe Clovis can give us a little bit of the user types that we are really targeting, and then I can do some technical part.
So again, I think that when we think about the final solution that we see for that, we for sure would like to use mobile and desktop and different platforms. But for this particular challenge, it's a little bit more confined, the problem, right? So for instance, in terms of database of technologies, we are not really asking, or it's not the main part of the challenge to create a database and people go there and add the technology. But is a main part of the challenge to be able to search existing databases.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So we list a set of databases that already have those kinds of technologies, green technologies, technologies related to different areas of sustainable development, and we list those the sites where you can find those databases. And the idea is to this engine to go there and get the information from there. And from the user, more important than the platform at this point, what we'd like to see is different concepts on how the user can interact with this search engine without having to know the technology, in advance, ex ante. Yeah, you have to maybe using some kind of more natural language and saying, my problem is the following: I'm a farmer in this country. This is the condition of the soil. That's what I learned, and somehow these to be able to pick up these elements and be able to match with technology that can help. So that's one idea, but we would like to see what kinds of other ideas may emerge from people that are thinking about this challenge,
Excellent.
I would like to add some to what Clovis said and show some of. I think people are seeing my screen. Are they?
Yes. If you click on
Yes.
yourself on the Hangout, it'll make sure to show.
Okay. So as you can see on the screen, I think our requirement for this specific challenge is in 3 parts, roughly. So the first part is to aggregate data from the sources below. And this page that I'm looking at is on the Unite Ideas page and the challenge site tech matcher.
All links will be in the description below.
Yes. And so once you click on, so this is the welcome page for the challenge. We are explaining what is the main objective. And then when you click here on read more details, you go to the challenge background. And in there, we explain why this matters, why this is important, and then sort of what we expect people to do. So the first part is to aggregate data from the sources below. Then let me go and show you the sources below. So the sources below are websites. I'm going to open one just for demonstration here. These are only a dozen or so websites, but they have content that we consider useful, and this is how we would like to do the proof of concept. Well, this one is very interesting because it's Chinese. So I guess we put that one there to make it a challenge to see if people some people are interested in classifying content in other languages. But all the other websites, mainly all the other websites are in either English or there might be one in French, I believe. But so if you would look at these websites, they have content on support for business innovation, international partnerships, and then you can filter those opportunities by country. And for example, here, there's a button here, search for current opportunities. So typically these websites tend to have places where people offer business, for example here, business offer, or do they have business requests, or they have technology offers or technology requests, and see these per country. And so we imagine that all of these websites have different classifications, but they tend to have similar concepts: business offers, business requests, technology offers, technology requests. Some call them RFPs or RFQs. But at the end of the day, we would like to have something like a portal where, and this, by the way, I want to show you this. When you are on the website, there's a team of a group that already shared an idea with the rest of the people competing in that idea for this. And they put some images and a whole workflow on how they imagine the system could be. And so when you click here on reference and examples, we actually put a link to it. If you click on sample design, you end up in this PDF that has a whole sort of specification document on what it could be, the system could look like. with a place for searching, browsing for topic, maps. So I think this PDF is an excellent resource to get a grip of what the project consists of. And here you can see that they say, let's have facets for the type of filters that people would want to do when they're searching for these, the content of those websites. And finally, if I go back to the steps here, so we had the first step is to aggregate data from those websites. The second step is to consolidate that data and make it searchable. Once we are able to search on the spot, finally, we want the system to be a little bit smart and also create recommendations for the users. So to say, you didn't type certain keywords, but the system may tell you these are technologies that are related, or other people have searched for these technologies in the same context. So recommendations, and that's why we call in the description search and recommendation engine. And let me stop. Yeah. That
is awesome, and that the visuals really helped paint that picture. So thank you. What kind of skills are you expecting for people to be able to have in order to participate?
Well, you know, that's really we're technology agnostic. We don't at this moment, at this stage of the challenge, we're not expecting to have a solution that it's going to go and be hosted in a specific server room or following a specific technology. We're rather trying to pick people's brain and have them create the best prototypes that we possibly can. And I'll pass it to Clovis, because he may explain what are we going to do with these prototypes and where are we going to show them.
Right. So we here at UN, we were tasked to develop this platform. It's called Online Platform of a Technology Facilitation Mechanism that was created by the member countries to support the implementation of and the achievement of these Sustainable Development Goals using science, technology, and innovation. So we were here at the UN tasked to do that. Not only our department here, but a group of agencies that are part of UN. But we don't want to start this this path, you know, this project of developing this platform with any preconceived idea, or we would like to crowdsource the possible ways and see what is out there, what people can come up in terms of prototype. And based on these prototypes, then we can see what is there, and then we can take forward from there based on the better, you know, the best ideas, maybe combining different pieces and parts of ideas of different people, because we really believe that the crowdsource can bring us, you know, we have emerging solutions that we will not be able to design by ourselves, you know, but would emerge from this kind of competition.
Yeah, and just add one more thing, that the United Nations is not a technology company. We're a policy-making institution that works with governments. And what we saw, for example, in the previous challenge is that we put out the one that was won by Data for Democracy, that we put out a request for an idea. And what you guys proposed just exceeded our expectations, because a lot of the developers that are working in Data for Democracy are working in the leading technology companies in the private sector. So you actually have access to the best technical capabilities, and you're very creative. And we don't want to say, oh, please do it this way or that way. We're rather saying, what can we do? Please help us.
No, definitely. So you guys mentioned a prototype phase. Is there a timeline for this current submission process?
Right. So it goes up to the end of November, short 1 week of November there, because in early December, we will have a meeting that the United Nations is organizing in Shanghai, and with different stakeholders, people that some of them runs these websites that we have listed there, that already provide technology offers and things like that, so that we can go there and together discuss how to go about the development of that project. But then we would like to go to that stage of expert group meeting in terms of UN, already with the input of this challenge, and see what people can get out of that. And actually would like to even showcase the winner solutions, the shortlisted solutions there, and if possible for people via video, make a presentation to that meeting in Shanghai, what was the solution that was developed and how that was developed. So we really want to link with the next phase, that is really that prototype going to as an input to the discussion to development of that, the initial development of that platform. In May next year, we have a big meeting here in the UN. Is a yearly meeting. It's called Science Technology Innovation Forum. It's a multi-stakeholder forum with government, private sector, NGOs. And this is the main platform for government and these other stakeholders come together and discuss how science, technology, innovation can contribute to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we would like that in May next year, during this meeting, the Science, Technology, Innovation Forum, would like to showcase the initial prototype of this platform. So this process starts now with this challenge. And the ideas that will come up of this challenge, for sure, will very much help us to drive this process to come up with this initial solution by May next year.
That is awesome. So as of this recording, the submission deadline is, again, November 25th, 2017. And that is for the prototype phase.
Correct.
Correct. And what we would like people to submit are working prototypes, something that we see working, so people can people can experience the benefit of such a tool. And you asked about the type of skills or the type of technologies, and so I don't know about the type of skills, but I can make speculations on the sort of tools that could be used for this. For example, tools like Elasticsearch or Apache Solar to make the search element from it. Machine learning algorithms to classify the pages that are acquired from the list of websites, to throw out irrelevant content, but maybe classify the items by Sustainable Development Goal, for example. We want that when you search for something, it says, well, this is relevant to energy or relevant to food or hunger. And so these classifications don't exist in the data in the different websites. So we'd like to maybe do some machine learning to classify the content, to tag keywords on the text, maybe some natural language processing. Also, well, that's also some things that I could mention.
Oh, that is awesome. A wealth of knowledge. The links will be down below for how to participate, how to find out more information, all the submission guidelines and details. Any closing remarks, Clovis or Jorge?
Well, I think that I just want to thank the participation in this challenge, because it's for us it's really amazing to have people interested to work on that, and the objective is really a better world, sustainable development, how to use technology, innovation, science for that, and we really look forward to the solutions that will come up out of this challenge.
Yeah, I'd just like to add a little detail here. So when you go to the website, to the UN-DESA website, you can see this challenge. So when you go to the homepage, you can see the Science and Technology Matcher Challenge. There's also a challenge that is just finishing now, that it's past the submission phase, and other past challenges as well. But when you create an account here on the sign in, and when you are, as you can see, if you decide to form a team to work on this or work with other people in Data for Democracy, that's great. If not, there are already some ideas here on the platform. So this group of people, for example, the STI online platform, is a team that submitted that detailed description in PDF, but they don't have any capacity to execute. So they are quite familiar with the requirement, but they don't come from a computer science background. So one approach to not having to start understanding the requirements to say, I would help you. You don't really have, you can join an existing team, and I think that's very important. The other reason why we invite you to, if you're thinking about putting forward a team or a prototype, to let us know already, even if you don't have the prototype, because if you express what you're building here, we can read it and maybe comment on it and say, yes, that's right on, or that's not quite where we're thinking, and other people may also comment on it. So we want it to be, it's not really a competition. We want it to be a collaborative process. And so I hope that a lot of people in Data for Democracy join. We really have hopes, and let us know how we can help you. If you need more sessions or one-on-one sessions, let us know.
Definitely. We will be in touch, and we're looking forward to some great collaboration with the community on the Unite Ideas website, from D4D and from other groups that come out of this. So really looking forward to it, and we'll touch base soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.